morning, good day everyone. How are we around the world? I hope you all are doing well. If you're not, hang in there. Don't get discouraged, because this is a trip. You know, we're so involved in treatment-based thinking that when you wake up to the reality that this is going to be some work to undo genetic weaknesses and to undo a lymph system that's been clogged by the dairy products and stuff for years, it's a trip. And I understand it. This is what I woke up to, and it's like, oh, you know, it's one thing to eat a few raw foods, but it's another to get into the body deeply and detoxify it. These are all different levels of thinking, you know. So you're all doing very well. And Rita just called from the UK. She's on her 73rd day of melon fasting. 73 days of melon fasting. Is that cool or what? She feels super good from what I'm told. And that's exciting. She says, I feel better than I ever have, it sounds like. So this is really good. 10 thumbs up there, Rita. Great job on yourself. That's what it takes. And you tear it up sometimes. It's just the way it is. When you realize that a fruit diet, fruit, berries, and melons are the perfect diet for the Homo sapien, digestively and everything else, energetically, for man's nervous system, chemically, for all the good nutrition that you find in the berries and the fruits and the melons. You can't get better out there. Better dead animals? No. Better milk? No. Better vegetables? No. You know, I mean, if you were power packing some green juices, well, of course we have more nutrition in that. But the answer isn't always nutritionally, is it? You start to realize that the body can sustain itself on very little nutrition, actually. Take a look at most animals and what they eat, and you'll see not a lot of nutrition. And yet a lot of people are worried about that side of the fence, and they should be worried about the lymphatic side of the fence. That's the one. That's the booger bear. And so, you know, if you just eat normally, you're not going to detoxify up to a point, just from the point where the cooked foods and everything are eliminated and those vibrations, and you pick up on the vegetables and everything, you'll detoxify to that vibrational point. And then that's it. And you'll feel better, but those of you that have much deeper issues have to dig deeper like this. And going on these melon fasts and grape fasts, so and they're not really even fast. This lady's just eating melons for 73 days. Fasting would be water fasting. But since man is so used to the standard diets around the world, then going on a melon diet like that would be considered a fast to some people. So anyway, congratulations. That's pretty darn good, I think. And you feel so good. I was talking to Yaz yesterday from Thailand, and he's been going up on a mono diet. And he said, my God, I can't believe the difference. And it is true. You know, you have to realize that everything has a level of consciousness to it. So when you mix too many levels of consciousness together, it can also, those of you that are getting up there on these higher levels are going to get real sensitive. Babe's getting sensitive. You know, she's heading toward her, 600th day or whatever it is, or 500th day. I mean, you get real sensitive to lower forms of vibration. And especially when you're mixing them all. You know, I always push the rainbow salad. In other words, a salad with all kinds of colors and beauty in it. But in reality, at a certain level, that's good. And at another level, the body can't tolerate all these different levels of consciousness. And each has its own digestive time, its own digestive energy needs, and everything else. So simplicity right now in this world is key for all of you to keep everything simple. Your desires simple, your thoughts simple, your diet simple, everything simple. Because the mind is caving in on itself. Now just look at the mall killing just yesterday. It's all over the place. And people that have weak minds are going to go off the bookie. And they are. So you have to be real strong. And the best way to be strong is don't use the mind to control itself, because it's impossible. You stop thinking. You learn how to put the mind where it needs to be. And it sounds wild, but try it. Try just spending a day in just observation, just watching things go on around you. Watch your own thoughts come in, and when they start to come in and you start thinking, stop that, or you'll lose the now. And you'll be lost in thought processes. And so, fun thing to do. Now, I'm going to try. I've got 11 o'clock, and I only have a half hour here with you. So I'm going to kind of tear through these, and forgive me if I go too fast, but I want to help as many as I can here, and I'm treading the water kind of slowly. But this was a good one, I thought. I have been using herbs, and now my mouth is always chronically dehydrated, no matter how much I drink or how much juicy fruits I eat. What do you think is my problem? Yeah, extreme dehydration. Now, I don't know if those herbs you kept in your mouth or whatever, it could just be exposing what you already are, super dehydrated. I would probably do a little ginger in the mouth, or a best way is get just a little bitty piece of maybe horseradish root or something and start chewing on it. See if you can inspire better flow out of the saliva glands and everything like that, and just see if you can get that going. And or maybe some lemon juice and mild cayenne pepper in there or something. See if you can't get things astringent and moving, and see how you do with that. Because that's what it sounds to me too, that you're very dehydrated in the tissues here, and that's the lymph system. Astringents can make you feel dehydrated, so I don't know about the lemons, but anything that'll move, like your peppers and your horseradishes and things like that. You know, see if you can get some action moving. Let me see. This is M. Petrus. Is my understanding that fluoride accumulates in the brain and thyroid? Well, remember, I was commenting on this from the Casey Anthony trial, that this he's retired, but he's written many books on autopsies and things, and he said that fluoride actually accumulates in the bones. Now, there's probably no question it accumulates in many other tissues, but I felt it very interesting, his comment on how the fluoride in water accumulates in the bones. So if it's accumulating in the bones, my guess it's antagonistic to calcium, and he was talking about how it changes the bones, nature and color of them, and I'm just going, what? And so, yeah. Well, that's another good one. You know, I mean, this is a problem. It does not matter what the people think anymore. Governments still go ahead with things. You notice that? And it's like, there's a point where I think all governments have crossed the line in the sands against its people. And now you're seeing people stand up, and this is true in the UK, it's true in Greece, it's true everywhere else. And the message has been loud and clear. It's loud and clear for our government. Quit spending, save money, quit overtaxing us, because there's a point where nobody can tolerate it anymore, and then the government gets in trouble. And that's what this government's pushing, and I have to say that it must be a planned agenda, because no one's that stupid, are they? So yeah, and this is real important. Detoxification is the only way. That's why I love detoxification, because it's the only way you have a chance of getting the fluorides out. And I couldn't speak to it so much because, especially in the bones, there's just not enough research pre and post detoxification. Matter of fact, the medical profession doesn't even understand detoxification, let alone begin research and taking a look at that. Glory days when that happens, you know, in terms of setting up a whole new thinking, using good scientists from good universities to take a whole nother look at life and health from our perspective. It's going to open up a world of incredible growth educationally and everything else. The proper type of studies, not these stupid double-blind chemical studies, blah, 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 blah. All that is just stupid stuff. Man playing these games, spending money, and then go ahead and the FDA allowing it to go on the market, whether it kills people or not. That kind of stuff's going to stop. Either you guys on Earth stop this, or your Earth is going to cave in on itself. That's all I can tell you. Douglas. I've been a listener for over a year now. Thank you, Douglas. Appreciate it, my friend. And I've been hitting the fruits hard to get myself to Wellville. I'm only 23 years old. You guys, I'm real proud of you guys, by the way. You young guys are kicking butt. I'm so proud of each and every one of you. And my sadness is so many of you are suffering. And 20 years old, you're suffering so much. And the babies, it's just disheartening. So what's beautiful is all you guys, we share the same vision. Doesn't matter, you know, we work out our little differences, but the vision of getting well, you know, and sharing each other's journey and how we cleaned ourselves out and what's the next step, what's for the pitfalls. I fell in a lot of pitfalls. That's why, you know, I feel like I'm an educator that can help you avoid some of the falls. And then some you can avoid. It's just life, you know, and we have a lot of judgments from the purists, but, you know, reality is reality in this physical world and on this rock. So he can tell that he has heavy lymphatic constipation. I found some of the best organic apples. Oh, wow, from Wilcox, Arizona, and just finished a 2-week apple juice fast. Whoo, whoo, lots of mucus. Look at that. Was excreted from my bowels along with yellow residue that would stick to the toilet bowl. See, that's interesting. See that? That's that sulfur crap. I hope to get my green eyes back to blue. Now, there's a young man tearing it up. My main question is for my friend who was recently diagnosed with avascular necrosis of the hip. Oh, he is only 23. And this is what I'm saying. This is what I've been trying to get you guys up to speed with. And if the rest of the world doesn't want to follow, okay. But kidneys, adrenals, and lymph. This poor young man at age 23 probably came out of the mom heavily lymphatic up, and you see the acids breaking down the hip and vascular system here, and that's when you see necrosis, when you see the breaking down of tissue. I don't care what you want to call it, all the way to cancer. You can use the medical terms if you want, and that's the label. I guess they label cells that have been damaged, not referring to diseases, referring to the state of health of a cell. Nobody owns those words. And so, important to understand that how in trouble we are. So to fix that hip, you've got to, one, get the kidney and adrenals moving so you can move that lymph system out of that leg and hip. And these lower lymph nodes down here get hard and stuff, so we got to move that up. At the same time, he could use some castor oil packs to help alleviate the pain. I'd get, if it was me, I would do brain and nerve number 2 to help that side of it, but then I would tear into my adrenals, I'd tear into my kidneys, my lymphatic system, clean up the bowels, and I would definitely check the parathyroid so he can rebuild that hip. So you might think about the Bones formula, because that Bones formula, or any Bones formula that has the comfreys, and oh no, comfrey isn't allowed anymore. Look at that. Pretty soon we'll be able to list a whole list that's not allowed anymore. That's why the lawsuit, and you'll see that coming, because I am dead set on taking the FDA to task with all this, and I feel that if we don't, they're just like any other negative entity. They just keep taking and taking and taking until someone slaps them upside the face. And I think we need to do that and just wake them up a little bit, just with a little love kiss, you know. Because they keep taking people's rights away, and you can't do that. Unfortunately, you all were born in a period of time where you're going to have to stand up and stand up for truth and God, and you'll never go wrong. You'll always be protected. You'll always be helped. And you know, remember, creation is what it is. You know, it's drama, it's war, it's happiness, it's sadness, it's all the things like that. But at this point in time, things are accelerating toward the negative. So we must accelerate toward the positive and bring in those type of thinking and energy. You know. So this poor lad is in problems. Since he has no experience with the raw food diet, my initial advice for him was to make breakfast all fruit. Absolutely. Cut out all dairy. Yeah, exactly. If he's doing dairy at 23, what protocol would you suggest? Yeah, I went over that. Thanks, Doug, for that. But yeah, get that young man moving his lymph system, get these acids out of here so you stop the breakdown, and then the buildup can occur. So I'd get the Bones formula for that to help that, but make sure that parathyroid is good. Check the fingernails, check veins, hemorrhoids, depression, things like that. Deal with the parathyroid gland. At the same time, you know, at 23, kidneys and adrenals, you don't even have, it doesn't really matter how much one has. You know, those tissues, making something healthy doesn't matter how unhealthy they are, except to the length of time it takes to repair those things that are more advanced. The younger you are, the more genetically inclined you are, or the weaker you are, and these tissues take you a little longer to rebuild. The positive side is that youth has its vibrancy, and it'll help you pull out of that. So it's all good, but it's all can be a pain in the hip, like a poor lad like that. This is Marie, helping detox a 4-year-old. First off, oh yeah, thank you so much, sweetheart. I thank you for your comments here, always from the heart. Currently, I am helping to detox a 4-year-old child. This child was raised eating cereal and milk, meat, fast foods. Here's a 4-year-old already introduced to dead animal tissue, all the milks, fast food, soda, and chips. Holy crap. poor little 4-year-old. I mean, and you know, at 4-year-old, what's this 4-year-old facing? Major kidneys, major adrenals already, and so a diet like this is going to take that poor kid down. And so you see the leukemias, you see the lymphomas, you see all this coming. She has been out of her mother. Oh, did you see that on the news? Now they're taking the HIV virus. They're taking a piece of that, attaching some type of chemo on it so it'll attach to weakened cells, which I thought the theory was interesting. Shows you the theory of viruses, how viruses attach to weakened cells, not healthy cells. So if they know that, they need to come forth and be more honest with the people. But they're taking a piece of a viral, an HIV viral, and attaching like a chemo to it or whatever, and then so it'll attack or adhere to those cells that are weaker or cancer cells that have they've been damaged by acids, of course, and then that should break down those cells. I thought that was quite interesting thinking, you know, kind of understanding helps the world understand what the real viruses are really about. Because I get viral loads in here all the time. HIV, Hep C, Epstein-Barr, all these viral loads. Virals are just proteins. They can be detoxified right out of the body. When you're weak and when you start to weaken cells, just like this research they're doing, it'll go to those cells. She has been out of her mother's care now for a month. Well, sounds like that's a good idea after being rushed to the hospital with an overall body rash. Well, isn't that sad, little baby with a 4-year-old body rash? It shows that that lymph system is systemic and it's head to toe, the poor little fella. So, yeah, I'd be slow, but I would definitely get this baby at 4 should be on almost all fruits, coconut milks, things like that, and that'll build the brain, the nervous system up. This will really be good for this young lad and help detoxify. You might give them some greens a little bit if you can, or green juices or something to kind of slow down the detoxification process, maybe some steamed vegetables, because at 4 years old, they're going to detoxify pretty fast. And, you know, they're going to go through it, meaning mucus coming out all over, fevers, and what's the value of a fever? That's right, to move open the skin, the third kidney, so we can issue poisons out of that area. Promoting fevers have always been the health side of it. So when you see allopathy, you've got to quit using the word health and really get in your own corner where you belong, because health is promotion of fevers, expectoration, elimination, not suppression. And a guy in here yesterday, and he's got a little mass in his lung, and he's on inhalers. Well, guess what's going to happen to that mass? It ain't going to come out because inhalers suppress. So it's just going to keep growing. That's the wisdom of allopathy. Since being in our care, we have removed all dairy, meat, and sodas from her. Yeah! This Marie's kicking butt, huh? She is currently on 75% fruit and veggies, and the rest is all gone. Rash is all gone. See how good you guys are? My problem is that this child is only urinating 3 times a day and only defecating every other day. We are still dealing with a lot of mucus in the sinuses and throat. She spent the first 2 weeks with very dark circles under her eyes. See, major kidneys. Now, there are a few days where she was running 101 fever at night. 101 is nothing for children, especially a 4-year-old. 4-year-old will tend to climb to 104, 105. Don't freak out. 103 is very acceptable. 104, 105 is children. Keep a cold washcloth neck and neck, forehead, cool them down maybe in a cool bath, but you don't want to stop the fever, because look at the medical profession. They're trying to get fever therapy for cancer. You know, and that's fevers up, 109, 111. 109, I think it is. I think they claim 109 that cancer cells can be killed with fevers, and that normal cells at 111. I don't know. Can't speak to that for fact. She spent the first 2 weeks, very dark circle, Yeah, I do. I would get on a bowel formula, even if you did 1 capsule twice a day, open up the capsule, put it in applesauce. I would do that, probably stomach and bowel number 2, to make sure this child is moving those bowels. Could be, at this point, very low adrenals, very low kidneys, can't even urinate well. So you need to go after that young girl's kidneys and adrenals. That's really going to be key to her success in opening up and moving lymph more aggressively. Even at 4, you can use a couple of drops of lymphatic 1. We use them on babies. So a few drops, say 4 drops of lymphatic 1, 4 drops of kidney number 1, 4 drops of adrenal or endocrine gland, and see if you can't get this child moving better and up better. And use these protocols, and maybe a capsule of number 2 twice a day and some applesauce. And work at trying to get this young lad back into a state of health here. Sounds like you're going to do a real good job, Marie. You left your phone number. Look at this sweet little girl now. And these get my heart. And us spiritual people don't like to see people get hurt. Isn't she cute? So, we need to get her fixed up so she has a decent life, the young sweet thing. I am a 59-year-old male who has had 2 heart attacks within the last 8 years. Ouch. He has 2 stents. High blood pressure has been a problem for years, so you know right there, kidneys and adrenals, right there. Well, why the heart attack? Well, take a look at this. What does the kidneys and adrenals control? What's one thing? Especially the kidneys. The drainage and the filtration of the lymph system. So when you're not filtering the lymph system, what's happening to it? It's backing up, isn't it? And backing up of the lymph system is backing up of cellular acids. Backing up cellular acids creates what? Inflammation and an immune response. What is the main immune response to acids? Cholesterol. Always cholesterol. Or calcifications, which you really don't want that one, because then you get stenosis or hardening of the arteries and things. That's a lot harder to deal with than it is cholesterol deposits. But the cholesterol deposits, remember, not on the vascular wall, in the vascular wall. So this is a lymphatic issue all the way through here. Now, when you have a case like this, guys, you want to first use a cayenne garlic formula. Like I have one cayenne garlic, butcher's brew and stuff, and that'll keep the vascular system dilated, because if he's occluded in the coronaries, he's occluded in the cerebrals and the carotids. So you want to open up and keep that blood flowing aggressively in the body. I would use upper or lower or both circulation formulas to help with that, keeping blood flowing around these people. And at the same time now, you're going after causative problems. You're going after why the occlusions and why the heart attacks, kidney and adrenals and lymphatics. Clean up the bowels, because the relationship, especially of this descending bowel to the heart. So you want to clean this up too. And you just got to clean up the GI tract. You know what you guys know to be true. Clean the bowels up, get the kidneys filtering, get the adrenals up to get the kidneys filtering. And use a little dilation. You can use niacin or niacinamide, which is a buffered niacin, to help dilation as well. Or a mild, not over hot, a mild cayenne garlic formula will help immensely with that to keep this guy from stroking or having another heart attack. And at the same time now, you're going in and opening up. Definitely want to check the parathyroid for vascular collapsing. Because if he's losing calcium and he's not putting it back, he could have vascular collapse. Don't forget that one. You have vascular spasms too, which can occur when you have too much calcium loss. So you have vascular spasm, you have vascular collapse, you have vascular occlusions, meaning vascular blockages. And all these, you want it to save your client, to help him get well again. You're going to open up, keep his blood flowing well. At the same time, you're going to get those kidneys filtering that lymph, so the cholesterol and all the calcifications can be dissolved and put back into the connective tissue, and you're going to be cleaning that cholesterol out. So real important. If you'll notice that those people with weak adrenal glands tend to have low steroids. When you have low corticosteroids, meaning low cholesterol-based steroids, your body's going to use cholesterol more often. And you're going to see more cholesterol problems in those that have weaker adrenal glands, particularly in the cortex where the steroids are produced. After the doctors put me on at least 6 meds, I started getting psoriasis. So you can tell immediately that those meds suppressed his lymph system. Immediately you can tell that when you start seeing more lymphatic problems like psoriasis, eczema, acne, things like this, you know that you're not moving lymph. Well, if chemical medications are doing this, oops, that means they're breaking down your kidneys or suppressing your adrenal glands. There's not a chemical medication out there worth that. Not at all. And this is the problem that we're facing. So you really have, and this is another clarification or proof to you that it is a lymphatic problem. And this is just another in-your-face lymphatic issue. You know, the other is vascular, but it's lymphatic. It is really bad at this point, and I have said enough is enough. Good. One side of me has always been intrigued with the human body, and I have always tried to research for myself the things that plague me throughout my life. Well, just keep in mind a lot of what you read is theories and half-truths, so you have to expand your awareness outside of these boxes. After working in a hospital for years, I have never really trusted doctors and tried to stay away from them as much as possible. I've been addicted and tried everything known to man. I have beaten everything but alcohol so far, and I have that on the run. Good man. I am sure I have, yeah, this is Bill. I have I have the candida from all the beer. Yeah, well, take a parasite or something like that and get that out of there. Fix the adrenals, because in sugar metabolism problems, that's another thing that you can wake up to, is sugar metabolism problems with all this. That's going to bring more candida problems. I have done well the past 10 days, considering it is the holidays, and I have many traps I must overcome with holiday parties. Well, you know what? This is this life on the planet, guy, and you're just like all the rest of us. We all interact with everything. It's what you can do in the caves and in the RVs, back in the woods, and everything else is different than when you're interacting with, and you're so busy interacting in the society it is. But on January 1st, I am going to do small fasts to see how it goes. I would do a little more than that, my friend Bill. Knock it out of the park. Quit using excuses. You're in trouble, and you don't want to go down. You have two heart attacks. You don't want a stroke either, because it's okay if they kill you, remember? But if a stroke doesn't, I'm going to have to rebuild you. We can rebuild you, but not fun, because then you're forced to eat this. Might as well go ahead and jump in the pool. I want to do a great fast for 40 days by February. Now listen, don't put your goals too aggressive, because you'll tend to put things off a little bit. Don't put your goals too aggressive. Just work in the now. Be here now. Be here now. Be here now. Work in the now. I'm getting rid of this, this, and this. All protein, Nick-say, especially heart attacks. Protein, see you later, alligator. Spent a lot of years in cardiac work. I always used to ask cardiologists, why do you recommend meat in an MI? Or a post-MI heart attack. You never do that. And I told you about the lad that died in the hospital from an MI. We saved him, but in the ICU, the dietitian gave him a barbecued beef sandwich and french fries. Intensive care, post-MI. She should have been fired. The dietitian been fired, and some serious repercussions. This is a father, 43 years old, a father of some children, has no father anymore, and he could have been saved. The ignorance is no excuse anymore. Can't keep saying ignorance. Last Monday, December 3rd, I was doing my usual research on this awful thing of psoriasis when God's hand waved and you appeared on my YouTube. Ooh. Well, man, you kick this out. Kick this up. I have pain in across my lower back. Hello. Kidneys, neck, right shoulder, and down. Yeah, you're loaded lymphatically, and of course the psoriasis is proof of that, man. And then your occlusions in your vascular system is also proof of that. So you really are a lymphatic person big time. You got to get that moving, man, all the way up into the head. Same thing about the cayenne pepper and all this kind of stuff. Get things dilated and all this. You got to work with that thinking. I'm awaiting some of your products. From what I have heard you say, I purchased Hilo T, adrenal glands, lungs 2, and lymphatic system 3. I will receive these products. Well, I did a little more toward the kidneys. The adrenals were good. I do lymphatic 4. Lymphatic 3 is pretty strong, but you go ahead and use that one up. But get into your kidneys. You didn't take anything for your kidneys, and you probably want to do a couple kidney formulas, a couple lymphatic formulas. Get on the stomach and bowel formula, clean up your bowels. Remember, there's a connection, particularly to the descending bowel and the heart. I'm taking about, and after pictures I would like to send you when my skin clears up. I know this will be a long journey. Well, I just be here now. And I'm glad you agree with the governments, because that is the way it is and it's truth. And we as the people need to stand up, just like they're standing up in Syria, just like they're standing up in, and Americans don't want to. It's like, come on, man, we're paying you, basically to do what we want you to do. Oh, you're not listening? All right, I'm going to have to cut off here in a minute, unfortunately. Dadgummit. This is John. Hey, John. Could you talk about the relationships between the adrenals, the prostate, and the hormones? There's a connection between testosterone and prostate cancer, but it's not clear to me. Standard treatment is to use various drugs for testosterone deprivation. Well, that's Lupron. But they give women same type of things for estrogen, and if you've covered this before, maybe some updates. Yeah, I've covered it before, but really, take a look at this. In the final analysis, the adrenals are where you see your testosterones and your estrogens. And so, you know that these steroids are acidic steroids. Remember, all the chemistry can simply be divided into base or acids. Very, very few things are totally neutral. Some things are a little alkaline or a little acidic or a lot acidic and a lot of alkaline. You know, there's all levels, just like there's all levels of people. So there's all levels of chemistry. But these acids, I don't know what the pH of estrogen or testosterone is. Anybody knows out there, let me know, because I have no clue. I've never measured the pH of these two steroids, but they are acidic. I don't think they're at 3 like your cell acids, like phosphoric, carbonic acids, things like this. I think uric acid is probably 2.5 the way it hurts, or at least 2.75, up there near Gatorade, which is interesting. You want to take a look at that. The adrenals, of course, produces the testosterone. So if you're a male and you have weak kidneys and adrenals and you run low testosterone, when you run low testosterone, you don't feel like you have that male thing, then you know it's weak adrenals. Well, the problem with weak adrenals is that then that shuts down kidney filtration. Well, things that are close to the kidneys you're going to feel first. Lower back, prostate, things like this. As you see, the lymph is systemic, but you notice that initially it backs up more local. So for a male, prostatitis, female, ovarian cysts, uterine fibroids, endometriosis. Prostatitis goes to prostate cancer, and of course, then the females go into cervical cancer, ovarian cancer, or uterine cancer, blah, 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 because simply these aren't diseases, simply that acids are finally taking its toll on the cells. Till then, it's just inflammation and itis. Inflammation. Inflammation is acidosis. And if we use the proper nomenclature, then we know what we're talking about. And so, acidosis. So when your kidneys aren't filtering, you're going to see some prostatitis, no matter how small. If you're at 1, that's hot enough. And so, PSA that is. So, if you're running high testosterone and you're not filtering, your prostate is going to go, your PSAs are going to go soaring, because that's acid on top of acid. Now wait a minute. If medical doctors know that you're going to use Lupron to suppress testosterone because it's acidic, and that we don't put acid on top of acid because that explodes things, why do we give chemotherapy? When you find that out, let me know. And then we'll get together with them. But at this point, after the study is released, there shouldn't be any confusion about that. And so therefore, where's our Justice Department? Our Justice Department visiting some, FDA visiting some oncologist's office, shutting down this stream of chemotherapy. You know, it can't be by the money anymore, FDA or government or anybody else in the world. This can't be about the money anymore. We have to drop that. We have enough resources to help everybody and to get everybody's survival up. I understand we're overpopulated, right? World Health Organization, is that why you're going after us and trying to terminate the folk? I don't know. Forgive me, guys, but you know, this FDA in this country is getting more aggressive. Like I said, in the last couple of weeks, they've shut down a lot of herbs. Well, we can't allow that. Can't allow that. There's a line in the sand. You can sit back and keep saying I can't allow that, but now I know I am, and so is my legal team. We're going to stand up. Whether people join us or not, I don't care. I'm going after them. I don't care. This is just ridiculous. John, could you talk about? Oh yeah. So if you've got prostate cancer or prostatitis, you've got to fix what? The kidneys and adrenal glands. Absolutely. If you run low testosterone, that's kind of good. I hate to say this to you guys, but if you run low testosterone, and of course most of us have kidney and adrenal weaknesses, fix that first. Clean the prostate so when your testosterone levels go up, you're not going to overburn anything, because you remove that acidosis out of the prostate, and then you're good. So for some people that have lower PSAs, I'm happy to see that when they have lymphatic problems, because with high testosterone levels, wham, and look at what medical doctors do. You have low testosterone? Here, take some testosterone. Now, I probably could learn that by the time I'm in the 7th grade. I'm just saying. That is the worst thing you can do. You don't give testosterone and low testosterone because that's the adrenals. Of course, you know you're not going to produce your own testosterone. Plus, if they have prostatitis and you're doing a PSA and you go, oh, that's not bad, one's not bad, you could send that person right on up into prostate cancer. But they don't think like we do because we overview. We're thorough in the way we look. We're on point the way we look, and we're factual and scientific the way we look. Important to remember that. This isn't just, we're not talking about frivolous things here. We're talking about what is reality and what works and what doesn't work on people's wellness. Thanks, John. Good question, though. And I don't mind reiterating these things either because there's so many videos up here that I realize a lot of it's kind of lost in space there. Unfortunately, I gotta stop. So, I love you all, and I know that I sound a little overpassionate, but we are at that point, and if you notice, we're accelerating toward something. Some of us can see that something, and I have to tell you, just always keep your wits about yourself. Learn to keep the mind away. Keep yourself balanced at all costs with what you see coming, and just keep yourself well. And hang on to God. Hang on to God and everything else, and love. And give forth that love and the beauty and honesty and integrity and balance, a sense of balance. You know, if we go too far. Now, detoxification, we might have to take you a little out of balance, but it's essential to dig deep in. Balance will occur as you move up, and as you guys dig deeper, you'll notice your balances change. What's your balance today is not your balance tomorrow, and you have to be willing to grow with that. So I love you all so much, and thank you all for joining this tremendous ride that we're on here on planet Earth and on all the other dimensions simultaneously, I might add. And so we'll see you later, and I hope I can get to you sooner this week and do some more catching up with you guys. Thank you so much.